We've got babies. Yes, just a few months short of 15 years after I collected the first individuals under that tree in Sardinia, the offspring have reached the 20th generation. The first successful mating of generation 19 took place in early January this year. The F20 eggs were laid sometime after. And now the first larvae are hatching. I am preparing a fresh containment unit, an enclosure for the new larvae. This is done using the sponge cloth method I described in an earlier video. Now let's start rehousing. Here is a larva caught in the act of hatching. Note the creamy color of the newly hatched larva and the eggshells. Feeding time. And what's the best food for babies? That's right, other babies. Yeah, but in all seriousness, newly hatched giant African land snails are an excellent starter food. Those snails have already grown quite a bit since I picked them up. There's definitely some interest here, but no successful takedown so far. They are later feeding on freshly crushed snail. I will try to lure out some larvae for rehousing with food. That makes 50 larvae rehoused so far. Enjoy your snail mush, my lovelies. I wonder what my little glowworms are up to. Oh. Actually, everything went quite well. They continued to hatch. I did a few cleanings and rehousings, lots of feedings, and some already started to molt in the second stage. On day 25, however, I encountered a rare case of cannibalism. Perhaps a larva drowned in a droplet of condensation water, and its exoskeleton was ripped open by a splinter of snail shell, maybe. So, cannibalism. I shall consult the Necronomicon on that issue.
They say meat makes blood and flesh and gives you a new life. So I wondered if it wouldn't make a man live longer and longer if it was more the same.
Well, what it certainly does is increasing the chance to pick up some pathogens that might infect you. So, I am not approving of this kind of behavior. No, no, no. Luckily, I have an aquarium that gets a lot of nutrients and sunlight, and therefore supports large populations of freshwater snails. That's a real treat for my glowworm larvae. Here, have these instead. In total, I have now 464 F20 larvae of Lampyris sardiniae, give or take 5 to 10 larvae. They are not that easy to count. You don't see much here, but that is because most of them are already full and molting, or about to molt. They tend to hide and cluster together for this. Hold on, some more hatchlings incoming. 465. 466. And there are still some eggs left from the first batch. And there's also a second batch waiting. Time for an update on the 20th generation of my Sardinian Glowworms. They were featured in 3 videos so far, and the last one was sadly about an extreme population decline in the summer. However, now, roughly half a year after hatching, the first pupation has happened. It's a male. And it has matured and left the pupa. You can see the empty chrysalis right there. Half a year from egg to pupa is a typical time frame, presumably much faster than in the wild, and the key to this is of course feeding, feeding, feeding. Yeah, much feeding, much growing. Lovely cream color of a freshly molted larva. This one is a bit older already and the old skin above. And I don't want to think about what this male is doing there. Anyway, much feeding, and much feeding means much mess. So I recorded one of the frequent rehousings here. The male died a day previously, and that's also kind of typical. Males tend to be the first to mature, and oftentimes there's a single individual that, or a few individuals that mature way faster than the rest, and they are not very lucky. It's not always wise to be the first, but it's clear that the others are on the way to maturity, and I will continue to feed them well, and I hope that in the near future I can receive some eggs again and regrow my population, because the population loss in summer, as I mentioned in the last video about them, it was very, very severe. And well, you can count them for yourself if you want, but there are ridiculously few left from the rather large batch that I had. Again, tried and true, the sponge cloth method. Food leftovers and excrement and shed skin stay on the sponge cloth, and the larvae are easily transferred. Gently blowing on them if they cling too much, and that's really nice and works really, really well. You can see the little ones made a lot of mess here. I am currently keeping them at slightly above 20 degrees Celsius, and they receive indirect artificial light for 15 hours per day. This simulated summer photoperiod seems to help inducing pupation. And here comes the rest. Well, okay, a little bit of dirt made it in there. Let's take it out. Well, those that are left, they look very healthy and well fed, and I think they will mature very soon, and the colony of Sardinian glowworms can continue. That larva in the middle there has eaten especially well. It's really stretched. Oh, and there's still a little bit of snail shell. Let me just pick it up. And now, to continue the cycle of feeding, growing and cleaning, here's some food. Wish us luck and fingers crossed for matings in the near future. Sorry. I meant cool is how I kept my little glowworms for breeding. Did it help? Let's find out. Since 2004 I have been keeping Sardinian glowworms. Now, in 2020, this is the 20th generation of them. Starting with the exceptionally hot and dry summer last year, there have been heavy casualties in my colony, which wasn't exactly the best for my sanity. If you die, I will f***ing kill you. Then, in late October of 2019, there was a bit of hope because the first adult male appeared. Unfortunately, he was way too early because the first adult females did only appear near the end of the year. He was long dead by then, and no other male in sight, so I collected all 3 females, and I did put them in the fridge because this slows down their metabolism and they might stand a chance to live long enough to see the next male. Good plan. Didn't work, for this female at least. She went into the fridge too late. In contrast, I kept the next male pupa extra warm so that it might develop a little bit faster. When the male was finally ready, I took the females out of the fridge and grabbed the male, and there were matings, but unfortunately unsuccessful. This female did not lay any eggs, and an impromptu autopsy revealed many spoiled eggs inside her. Those few eggs that were laid by the other female, well, they looked kind of similar. I guess the reason for this failure is because the females were in the fridge for a really long time, and ridiculously long, I think, and perhaps the eggs just weren't all that fresh anymore, even though the females were still alive. So sadly, those last 2 adults died without leaving any offspring. However, in March of 2020 there were again both sexes present and matings were able to commence. I prepared some well-aerated cricket boxes, and in order to fuel stupid gender stereotypes, the males get a blue one. I hope that now I will be able to document the first successful mating of Generation 20. So, this is the first male of the new batch.
And there are some call him
Tim. At this moment I have 4 females ready. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, who should be paired off first? Those 3 females, they glowed last night, which means that they are ready to mate. This one did not yet. And among those that did glow, who should be first? This one glowed for a long period of time, which is a good sign that it is certainly mature, because it is advertising more desperately for a male, so to speak. And this one glowed about the same time. And they both glowed longer than the third contestant. This one looks ready to start the display. It's near the end of the photo period. And this one is not near an elevated place in order to display, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything, but it's quite large. And if it's larger, that means it has more eggs. So this one is first. There you go. Hello. Wake up. There's a nice female. Yoo-hoo. Huh? No. Wrong direction. Yes. Better. Yes. Good. Not wasting any time. Okay, I think you should have some privacy now. Was about time. You see, the female already dropped an unfertilized egg. I left the pair together for one night, and after that night the female did not glow anymore, so I assume it was fertilized. And I did put it in another box which had a higher humidity, in hopes that she would lay her eggs. Let's check it out. Oh man, the tension is killing me. Do you see what I see? Right there. Oh yes, carefully deposited eggs and a visibly flattened female. I think we have a full clutch of fertilized eggs, yeah. This female has also already spent a night with the male, and it did not glow last night, so I think it's also ready to lay its eggs. So I'm gonna drop it right in there to the other female. And I hope that she will lay her eggs there. I like to keep those egg-laying boxes in complete darkness and in a more temperature constant environment, as to prevent the formation of condensation water, which might drown those beautiful eggs. I guess life just goes on. Literally in this case.
The cycle is complete. Again.
Yep, the eggs that I so gladly reported in my last glowworm update did in fact develop. I was also happy that a rarer, darker color morph was among the females. Breeding continued for a while, and near the end even with males in excess again. And then, finally, 431 days after the first larvae of the Generation 20, I spotted the first larva of Generation 21. It hadn't even fully pigmented yet. Let's have a closer look at the whole situation. Making sure there are no larvae stuck on the lid. You see, there's a larva. There's a larva, there are larvae. Some empty eggshells. Eggs that have not developed, but there are also developed eggs mixed among them. And one more larva. Yeah, so far, so goody. I have prepared some enclosures to sort through larvae and eggs and in order to rehouse the newly hatched larvae. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and that's number 26. Those are the older batches of eggs in an enclosure with much room in order to make sorting out the newly hatched larvae more easy. And those are the newly hatched larvae I sorted out so far. The newer batches of eggs separate. There is also one adult female still laying eggs at the moment. Yeah, you can see they have a more yellowish color to them. Nicely camouflaged against the yellow sponge cloth. And I also have currently 2 males in the fridge to keep them fresh for maybe later pairings. And now they go right back into the fridge. Otherwise, all that's left of Generation 20 are those 3 larvae. I'm not sure if they will develop. They apparently haven't eaten in a while. This is the rest of a ram's horn snail I fed them. But let's move forward and take care of Generation 21 now. I have an aquarium with many freshwater snails, an ideal food for the little babies. I will pick them up. Oh, I try. Shouldn't have cut my nails. Really? Anyway, that's what I picked up. First feeding time. Are you excited? There you go. A bit much, but I want them all to be sated. Okay, let's see if we can witness the first bite. Okay. Yep. That one's going for it. But they are very cautious. As they should be. You can see how the larva uses its sticky tail organ in order to have some additional grip on the shell of the snail. Meanwhile, the venomous pincers are looking for a spot to inject the venom. And there's the next larva, attempting to make prey. Yes, slowly but surely, all the larvae are coming to their dinner table. Nice to see. Meanwhile, I'm still adding new larvae, newly hatched ones. And the feeding continues. Now I'm also adding some crushed snails, this one and this one. They seem to like those. Up until now I have collected 45 Generation 21 larvae so far, and they are happily feeding. I'm fairly optimistic that there will be a smooth transition from Generation 20 to 21 in my Sardinian Glowworms.